Hey, everyone. Hoping everyone is good. Hoping everyone is great. Hoping that you had a great weekend. Hoping that you found some great experiences. Hoping that if it was busy, you got some rest. And praying that everything that you needed will come to fruition in the time allowed. Over this weekend, I spent some time with my best friend. She celebrated her 41st birthday on Monday. So we set aside some time, and I needed a good girlfriend weekend. And when I say, baby, when you are adulting and you are used to going to bed at an early hour, baby, we was trying to keep them eyelids open, but the more that we tried to laugh it away and talk it away, baby, we was going to sleep. I enjoyed every single day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We did all of the things that we wanted to do as friends. We laughed, we had serious talk, we shared a few tears, many hugs, and it was a great time. So for any and everybody who has maybe been separated from the person that are the people that they love, more so in friendship, y'all make a means to meet at least once a year. Twice a year would be great. But you need those times with your friends. You need to catch up on things. You need to see each other. You need a hug. And you just need a wild out sometimes too. Just have the opportunity to just act a straight fool, tell jokes, and just be y'all authentic selves. Okay? I want to thank each and every person who signed up for the self-love coaching consultation. So I did it in two parts. The first part, of course, is the consultation. It's 30 minutes. You can go in and you can sign up for it. I actually have a link at the bottom of the podcast, so you can click that link if you are interested. So basically that 30 minutes is spent getting to know who you are, what is it that you are struggling with, and what is it that you need from me. So I want to kind of tailor something towards each and every person so that we can work on this love for self. And then after those 30 minutes, that consultation, if you feel like, coaching would be a great additive in your personal life, then we'll proceed with coaching sessions. I tell my clients that at least 6 coaching sessions would do you good. You are not under any obligation to continue sessions. If you feel like the first session you just needed to hear something and it clicked for you, baby, let's do it. And if you need more than 6, that's fine too. But I did want to extend that opportunity because so many of y'all have been asking. And again, I have to make a statement and say that this is not therapy. I am not licensed as of yet. Y'all hold on if you in the state of Georgia. I would be happy to be your therapist, and I plan to get licensed in Florida and South Carolina as well. But for legal ramifications and understanding, y'all, I cannot say that this is therapy, although many of the techniques will be utilized in the coaching sessions, but it will be variably different. So anyway, if you're interested, I left the link below, and I want y'all to make sure you tap in. All right. I want everyone to understand that the lack of love that we have for self is not based on race. It is not based on your religious beliefs, and it definitely is not based on gender. At the end of the day, when everything is stripped apart, we all are simply people. And we deal with the same issues that maybe a woman deals with and a man deals with. Maybe not to the same degree or severity, but the lack of love is universal. It doesn't matter, again, who you are, what you are, and what your beliefs are as well. I often find in the break of utilizing love for self is that many people struggle with coming to a place where they honor entirely who they are. And I think many times also, to add on to that, sometimes, we understand that living and thriving, that we have done a dishonor to ourselves in many situations, whether that had been our own fault or someone did something to us, whether they said anything or we were just a part of something that was just entirely not our fault. It can strip the very confidence that we have in ourselves. And let me tell you something, I don't care what nobody say, I've said this before, that stick and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me, baby. It hurts. Words hurt. And so if you are a sensitive one and you cling on to words, and listen, it's okay being sensitive, okay? I want to put that out there. Don't let anyone tell you that you are too sensitive because you feel what you feel. But if you are one who really feels words in depth, especially when someone is speaking negatively to you or about you, you know that can cause you to it takes a hit to your self-esteem and the love that you have for yourself. And I think many times also when we have a disconnect between ourselves and how to love ourselves, we are also kind of mirroring what it is that we saw in the people who reared us and raised us, mother, father, our grandmother, our sisters, a special aunt or an auntie or a cousin. If you didn't see those people employing self-love into themselves, then it's more than likely that you won't do it as well. And here's another thing on top of that too. If you were not given the tools and given the words and given actionable things to believe in yourself that you are loved, it's hard to receive it when someone loves you. We're going to sit on that for a minute. I know of many conversations that women have, and men have, when they find someone that loves them, I mean entirely. And if you don't know what love feels like and the way in which they wrap you up and want you to believe in yourself, you'll feel that they're love bombing you. But it's something special about someone looking at you, realizing that you may be a little fragmented, maybe a little bent, but something that they see in you is special. And they want you to see it within yourself, and they are helping you in increasing the love that you have for you. Why does self-love matter in the first place? Well, I mean, baby, if you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else? And if you are not the true representation of what love is, how do you know how to give it to someone else? Many people get lost in the giving of love and losing themselves on the back end. And what usually happens is you allow people to treat you and do you all kinds of ways. You'll find yourself in situations where you'll let people break you down. You'll absolutely give them the space to talk to you any kind of way, treat you any kind of way, because you don't know what self-love feels like. And self-love is merely honoring thyself, not allowing someone to treat you the way that you don't want to be treated. And I think the cautionary thing about self-love is that if you don't have love for self, you can't protect and you can't assist yourself in the way in which people seem to take advantage of you. When a person has a healthy dose of love for self, mental and emotional well-being is one of the things that they often put as a priority, because self-love fosters positive self-esteem and self-worth. When you love yourself, you're more likely to have a positive outlook on life, which can reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. And it also helps in managing your emotions more effectively. And this, doesn't come as any surprise that when you have a healthy relationship with yourself and you love yourself, it allows you to establish these healthy boundaries and relationships with people. So you can't come to me all kind of ways. You can't talk to me all kind of ways. You can't make me feel like I am less than, because my boundary is that you would never talk to me that way, and you would never make me feel lower than I truly am. And when you value yourself, you're less likely to accept mistreatment. Keyword, come on, y'all. Mistreatment or stay in toxic situations. It also means you can give and receive love more authentically. And when we correlate self-love, it's not just about relationships. Many of you have been in toxic family ships where you were not able to honor who you were, where you were not able to stand up for yourself, where you were not able to say to an adult, who could be an aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, y'all already know the means of this, where they could say whatever they wanted to say and you had to be quiet because anything outside of, being quiet seemed to be disrespectful. And what happens is when you become this adult, and you are maturing in your ways and you are setting those boundaries, now you become a problem to those who can't tear you apart or make you feel small. And isn't it interesting in the dynamic of you being a child and adults being adults that they're always going to look at you as an adult? Like, if you're a parent, you understand this. You teach your children the values, morals, you teach them manners, you teach them how to be great and decent human beings, and you also teach them to stand up for themselves. And with saying that and in putting that within them, when you put them aside or beside family members, why is it that they cannot affirm with the same esteem that you've taught them? That if you're wrong, that they can't stand up to you and say you are wrong for treating me this way or behaving this way. Because at some point, children become adults. And no, they're not equal in age to the adult that makes them feel inferior. But the maturity is there enough to say that enough is enough. The other thing that having self-love does for us is that it builds resilience. It builds resilience against life's challenges. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you're better equipped to handle setbacks and criticisms and failure. It gives you the strength to bounce back and keep going. Because I love myself, I choose not to fail. Because it didn't work out for me, it's not that I'll give up. I'm going to keep going because I honor this part of me where I want to succeed. And the loving part of me is nurturing me and saying, it may have been bad, it may have been a hiccup, it may have not gone the way that I wanted it to, but guess what? I'm so resilient in my force of loving self that I'll never allow myself to fail, and I'll never allow myself to be at the bottom of the totem pole. This was a big one for me. I think this took me a long time when I thought about the development of self-love. When we think about self-love, also, we think about how we grow as a person. And it encourages, first of all, compassion and grace for ourselves. And we take a moment to self-reflect. These are crucial in growth, and you know this. But many times we can't get past the point of forgiving ourselves and being graceful and being compassionate. No matter where you found yourself in, again, whether it was your fault by something that you did or if it was done to you, the first step I feel like in the discovery of self and loving self and growing is you have to give yourself permission to say, I forgive me and I forgive other people outside of it. Because here's the thing that many people don't talk about as well. You cannot love yourself in totality, and I mean really love yourself, if you keep holding on to the things that people have done and people have said in an unforgivable state. Because what happens is these people become this trigger for you, and then you become mad and angry. And that part of you, again, dishonors the growth part of you. So in order to love you, you gotta let some things go. You have to work on self-compassion. You also have to work on forgiveness for self and for other people. And also when you value yourself, and I know many of you know that when you value yourself, you pick up different things, like you eat better. You allow yourself more sleep. You exercise more. Because self-love is a mental thing first, and then it goes into the physical. So mentally, if I am together and I'm prepared, then outwardly, I want to be my very best, and I want to show up for myself in the best way that I possibly can be. And when you love yourself, you are authentic. You know, you don't care about how people feel about you. You don't care about what it looks like. You don't care, again, about the opinions of anything or anyone. You are whole in who you are, and you are authentic. You get to share that good message. You get to be that good friend. You get to show up in unfamiliar spaces and not feel like you don't belong. You get to buy that car and that house and feel fulfilled within something that you did because You took the time to get yourself together so that all the blessings that you prayed to receive now come in a transition of a place where you can hold it tightly because you love self. Self-love also gives us this peace, this inner peace, this, I can't even describe it, y'all. If y'all know what peace feels like, even if you've had it for a moment where everything in your life felt good, even if everything wasn't all the way together, or there were moments of issues, but when you looked at the overall picture, everything was good. You receive inner peace by loving yourself. Self-love helps you to cultivate inner peace. It reduces the need for external validation. And when you accept and love yourself as you are, you're less likely to seek approval from others. This leads to a more content life without the validation of anyone or anything. And you are open to be yourself. One of the things that I often suffered through in my personal life was trying to figure out what my place was. I had mentioned before, like, I'm a wife, I am a mother, and I think mother was like the top thing. I wanted to be the best mother that I wanted to be. I wanted my kids to see me as like this joy, the person that they can come and talk to. Like, I wanted to be that mom. I wanted to overcorrect some things that may have happened in the past in my family. And I wanted my boys to know that they had a solid woman in their life and a great example so that they can find them a great wife as well. But I think in doing so, and I know in doing so, I lost a bit of my identity in myself, because what happened was I was so wrapped into ensuring that I was doing all of these things. So when my two oldest kids decided that they were grown, and life happens too, they go off to school and they live on their own, that piece of me, a large chunk of me, dissipated. It left my body. I didn't know who I was. And this journey in loving self also helped me to understand that I did a lot of things that were distractions in my life, where there were many times that I felt empty in different facets of what I was dealing with. And so in order to feel better, maybe I loved on my children like crazy, or maybe I just ensured and made sure that when my friends called on me, that I was always upfront and there, like I was in service to them. That anytime that my husband needed me, that I was there and that I was active and I was being that person. But what I often felt, even in the midst of my children being there and everything going good with friends, when I was by myself, there was that loneliness there. And it also had me questioning who I was and if I truly loved me. I remember there were times when I just didn't believe that, number one, I was good enough. Number two, I had a lot of negative talk. If anything didn't go my way, often I just, I got to a point where it was like, why even try anymore? You put all of that energy into making that thing a thing, but it doesn't happen. But one of the things I learned about that process as well is that while I was waiting for that thing to happen, I was also believing negatively that it wouldn't happen as well. So I kind of put everything in the atmosphere. I didn't put positive energy, baby. I put negative energy, and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And the reason why I had such a negative point of view, or a way of looking at things, is because the bottom line was I didn't think that I would receive anything good because I didn't feel that I was good. And I think the hardest thing is talking to self and loving self when you've been broken for so long and you've looked for people to help repair you, but they got their own kind of stuff going on. and when you're not covered by people. And I'll even go on to say, when you are not in the covering of God, you'll miss everything about what it feels like to know what love is. So one of the things that I did when I realized, oh my God, my children are no longer around. They were definitely the noise that I hated, but I loved. I missed their presence. I began to really dig deep into me, asking the when, what, where, how. Number one, how did this start? When did it start? Where did this take place? And then where am I moving from? Why is it that in many facets of my life and growth and development, I could never think that I was enough? I was one to listen to what people said as well. And so what they said was law. And it was mainly by adults who I felt was definitely superior than I. And they were very, wise, I thought, in what they felt or what they said. And so I took all of that in, and I just believed that, I'm here, but I don't necessarily love who I am because no one seems to see what I felt was the good in me. I began to journal. All my thoughts and put everything down, how I felt, what situations I felt that I dishonored myself. And I started to analyze those things, and I saw a pattern. And again, the pattern was that, number one, I was a very negative person, not believing that anything good would happen my way. Number two, that I was great I distracted. I used a lot of distractions, and I had to undo that. I had to take some time to sit with me because I was great at showing up for everybody else and being that person. But I was also distracting myself from what was going on around me. And then third, again, when you don't love yourself, you just allow people to take advantage of you, your heart, your giving, your presence. And so many times I felt like I had to give in order to, feel whole. And it's the very moment that you feel broken and you realize that this ain't the way you want life to be, that you start to try to implement changes in your life. But the beginning of that is so very hard because, listen, now you're afraid to speak up because you don't know how to be, you don't know how to thrive, you don't even know how to honor who you are. I think one of the most advantageous things that you can do for your personal self, I think I spoke about this before, is the affirmation, speaking words of affirmations to yourself. But listen, again, the tricky thing about affirmations is, baby, you got to pick the affirmations that apply to you. You can't just pick an affirmation and say that that's going to be, and you know for sure that you are not in that space, and that afterwards you're going to be thinking negatively about whatever it is that you affirmed. So if my affirmation in that time of despair was truly, I am worthy, then I'm going to detail it and say it over and over because I am worthy. In a stage of getting myself together, I am worthy, and I am worthy of love, and I am worthy of loving myself the correct way. I am worthy of loving myself the correct way without distractions. And I am worthy of loving myself the correct way without distractions and the validation from other people. I am enough. The way I show up, the way I move, who I am, my intelligence, all of that, I am enough. And no one can tell me any different. And I deserve happiness. I deserve to create my own happiness. I deserve to walk into happiness. I deserve to dwell into happiness. Whatever happiness looks like to me, I affirm it and it is mine. You can also, again, like I said, journal. Write these things down. Write your thoughts and experience and gain clarity on many of these things. Use journaling to reflect on your emotions and celebrate. Oh, goodness. Y'all celebrate your achievements. I don't care if you got a certificate in something or you were thinking about something and you ain't break down today and you talked your way through it, baby. Write it down or say it out loud. I did that today. Because see, the more that you do it with intentionality and focus on you, the better that you become because you're gratifying changes that you are seeing, you're feeling, and you're being actionable about. And along with that is, again, the practice of gratitude, focusing on and appreciating the positive aspects of your life. Maybe that refrigerator stopped working, but baby, guess what? You got a house to live in, you got air conditioning, your kids good. We got to take little elements, out of our lives and say, it's bad, but baby, it ain't that bad, because guess what? I got a roof over my head. Or maybe at this moment, you worrying about how you gonna pay that rent or that mortgage, baby. The way these mortgage rates are going up, baby. Whew. Goodness, but thank God I got a job, and thank God I got the job and the position that I do have, because if I want to go and get another job, I'm in good hands with the current job that I have, and my situation can change. It is also saying that, maybe I wasn't able to reach that goal. Maybe I had a goal of, having $10,000 by the end of the year, and I wasn't able to do it, but baby, I got down to $8,995, and God is good, right? Because I'm looking at the positive. I'm taking the positives out of it, and I'm being one with gratitude. If you are a creator, an artist, express yourself. Use creative expression using art, music, writing, or any creative outlet that helps you express. This is my thing, and that's why I'm loving this stage of my life, because I've always been a person to create and express, but it's also a joy to do it from my heart and my hands and my mind. And I love this part of me, because now I'm showing up authentically, 100% well-rounded, who I am, and I love that part of me, and I love that for myself. I think this has to be the biggest one. Come on now, listen. When we go on this journey of self-love and also asserting certain things that we need, we also have to assert people in our circle, in our orbit, that are positive influences in our lives. So the type of people who don't lean on us too heavy while we're going in the midst of our internal struggles and allowing us to seep down to where they are. Or for those of you who go to people that you trust and love, and you share these things about yourself, you want people, number one, who can listen and give you positive and inspiring words, and don't negate the feelings that you feel and make you feel that loving self or your lack of self-love is not one of those things that need to be on the agenda, or just make you feel like you are talking too much about what it is that you're going through. Just surround yourself with people that are positive, because the people, environments, and the things that you consume significantly impact how you really, really feel about yourself. So my babies, as we close today's episode on self-love, I want us to remind ourselves that self-love is not a destination, but it's definitely a journey. And it takes a lot of practice and patience and commitment. And it takes you. Loving yourself is about embracing who you are, flaws and all, and treating yourself with the kindness, respect, and compassion that you deserve. And remember, self-love is the foundation upon which all other aspects of our lives are built. It influences our relationships, our decisions, and how we navigate in this ever-changing world. So I hope that you take the time to nurture your relationship with yourself, celebrate your wins, forgive your mistakes, and forgive other people. Always speak to yourself with the same love and understanding that you would offer your friend, your children, your mate, whomever. Do unto them and do unto you equally. Again, I want to thank you for being here today and for taking this step towards really thinking about increasing and implementing self-love. Keep in mind that every small act of self-care, every positive affirmation that you give, and every boundary that you set is a powerful, powerful declaration of your worth. And if you are interested in the self-love coaching, I left the link below. Oh, you know what? I cannot I gotta do this for y'all because I've been getting the fan mail that you guys have been sending me, and I want to read a few. And again, I get the location in which you send it, but I don't get everything. So I want to give a shout out to some people. Give me a second. Let me pull it up, y'all. All right, so again, I don't have y'all names, so I'm gonna shout out y'all cities, okay? So we got Fayetteville, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, St. John's, AG. Goodness, where is that? I don't know. Georgetown, Delaware, Baltimore, Maryland. We got Maryland in the house. Catonsville, Maryland, Little Rock, Arkansas, Houston, Texas. We got Florida. We got New Brunswick, New Jersey, Connecticut. Indian Head, Maryland, Texas, Berkeley, California, Macon, Georgia, baby, Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, Chevy Chase, Maryland. It ain't no Chevy Chase, Maryland, for real. Oh, we got that Chevy Chase, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia again, and that Florence, South Carolina. I thank you so much for y'all positive words, your positive feedback. And then I just thank y'all for being here. I also want to implement, listen, y'all ain't got to do it. It's just something that I was posed to do. If you want to support me, you can go to lisamarie.info. Baby, you can give 50 cents, you can give $1, you can give $2 and to, support the show. And you can also just, support by purchasing a subscription. Child, I think they're like $2, $3, $4, baby. Just look it through. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait to meet back with y'all again for next time. All right. Bye-bye.